Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Thrive with Shantae. Welcome back. If you've been here before, I appreciate you watching. I appreciate all the comments that you have left, all your likes. If you're new here, come on in the room. I'm making this video because I want to address one of the ignorant comments that was left on one of my, in reference to one of my videos. You know, I love my people. I love my people. I love being a black woman. I love black men. And by the way, I'm Shantae Charles. I don't know if I said that or not. And please forgive me if I get on a little tangent. I'm apologizing ahead of time. And I hope you take this with love. But sometimes, although I love our people, I'm sick of some of our people. Not all, but I'm sick of some of our people and the ignorance. So if you're not new here, you know I've done a couple videos about being black and living in North Dakota and living in a predominantly white state or what have you. And I am amazed by the amount of people that are like, I'm not moving there because it's predominantly white. It's like, come on. And I am very familiar with the struggles of black people in America. I am very familiar with the history of the Ku Klux Klan, the neo-Nazis, the Aryan Nation. I am very familiar with the ignorance of racism in America because I know our history. I am very familiar. I have family members, well, they've passed away now, but my family members have literally marched in the civil rights movement. So I am very aware of our history with some white people in America. However, I'm not ignorant enough to believe that every white person is out to get me and that more white people mean me harm than the ones that mean me good. And I decided to make this video, and I'm going to pin the comment um, or show a screenshot of the comment where someone said they would rather struggle than move to North Dakota. Excuse me if you hear my kids in the background, but by no means am I saying that every black person who is having a hard time financially should move here. No, I'm not saying that. And quite frankly, some people, I don't want to move here because if you're coming with the wrong attitude, you're bringing the shenanigans that you were doing in the hood, you're going to bring them here. No, keep that where you're at. And I'm not saying that everybody who lives in the hood are bad people, because there are good people everywhere. But if you got the drama, if you're thugging, keep that where you're at. Don't bring that here. But to say that you would rather struggle than to move somewhere because it's predominantly white, somewhere where you can get a job easily because it's less competition here. You can get a high paying job. I posted in the community section here on my YouTube channel, I posted a job that starts at $65,000 a year. They're offering paid training. They're offering 100% paid insurance for the employee. So that means if you have a family, you only have to pay for your family's portion of the insurance. They're offering, did I say paid training? They're offering 401k, and I believe it said a 3% match. I believe it said a 3% match. And sorry, guys, I had to regulate my children. So, paid training, starting pay, $65,000, overtime, And it's a oil company. So 9 times out of 10, when you're working for an oil company, there is mandatory overtime. My husband, he works for an oil company. He works 12 hours a day, 12 days on, 2 days off. So he's automatically getting overtime. So can you imagine your base pay plus your overtime? A good base pay plus overtime. So they offer paid training, 401k, 100% paid insurance for the employee. Who is it? I'm sorry, you guys, if this video seems a little all over the place, but my children are home and it's Friday evening, but I wanted to make this video. So back to $65,000 starting base pay, overtime, pay 401k, 100% paid insurance for the employee, paid training. I think I said that a couple times. Paid training. You only need a GED or high school diploma. If you do not have a GED or high school diploma, listen to this. 3 years worth of work experience. I mean, where, tell me where else in America can you find a job like that with just a high school diploma? And if you don't have a high school diploma, okay, no problem. Just show us that you have 3 years worth of work experience. Like, that is few and far between that you're going to get that. And then you're coming to then the job is in a place where the cost of living is affordable, where you can come and buy a house in the 200,000s. Now, is it going to be the biggest, fanciest, nicest house? No. Is it going to be decent, a great starting point? Yes. Do you have to stay here forever? No. And that's the thing. People are thinking that I'm saying, come here to North Dakota and we're going to hold you hostage. The state is going to hold you hostage. You have to be here for the rest of your life. No. Come here, make the money, stack your money, do some investments, and then leave. Leave. Go somewhere else where it may be warmer, where you may actually want to be, but you've made your money here. And now you can leave. And this person who left that comment that they would rather struggle, she looked like a woman that was up in age. She didn't look 20 or 30. She looked like she could be, well, you can be a mother at any age, but you know what I mean. And I'm thinking to myself, excuse me, I always have to adjust my glasses because I have a habit of falling asleep in my glasses. So my arm, even though I've had it tightened before, it's just pointless of going and get them tightened back up. Anyway, I digress. But my thing is, if you are a mother or father and you have an opportunity to move somewhere to set yourself up and your children for a better life, you rather stay somewhere and struggle. This is the problem with a lot of Black Americans and why immigrants come here to America and they get farther than we do. Because, oh, I'm not doing that. I'm not going there. Why? My husband is an immigrant. His father came here. My husband is from the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago. His father came here when my husband was a child. He came here, he worked, what have you, and then he sent for his wife and his 3 children. And they came here. They came and they built a better life. He came so that his children would have better opportunities. And my husband is doing better than what his parents did. Not saying that his parents didn't do a good job, things like that. My father-in-law, he purchased a home here and did things or what have you. But The whole point of one generation is supposed to lay a strong foundation and help the next generation not have to struggle as much as they did. The old generation is supposed to make it easier for the younger generation, but some of us, Black Americans, not all, but some of us are so stuck on ignorant stuff. We're stuck on ignorant. Oh, I'd rather struggle. So you rather struggle and stay on food stamps. And I'm not saying that she's on food stamp, but this is the people that are on food stamps. So you rather stay and struggle, live paycheck to paycheck with no hope of getting out of the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck, because you're living paycheck to paycheck, and not because you are bad with money and you haven't learned to budget and you haven't learned to live within your means, but you're living paycheck to paycheck because you simply do not make enough money and the cost of living where you live is expensive. So you rather live that life, stay on the struggle bus, raise your children in poverty and struggling, because some of us think being poor is supposed to be, it's part of the Black experience. That's what being Black is, being poor. Like, really? Can we write a new narrative for our people? Can we write a new narrative for our people? So you rather struggle because here in America, you can get food stamps. Oh, well, struggling in the Caribbean is way different. You know, it's poor over there. They don't have social services. So you think it's okay that you get food stamps. And I'm not knocking anybody who gets food stamps. Trust me, I'm not. Because I have gotten food stamps before. But I tell you what, that was not going to be my lifelong story. That was not going to be my children growing up and say, oh, we were raised on food stamps. We didn't have enough, this, that, and whatever. No. And excuse my French, but when my husband lost his job and we were struggling financially, what did I do? I took my $12 skill as a CNA. I turned it into a 6-figure business by starting my own non-medical in-home care agency. And I busted my ass working to get my business off the ground. I worked 3 months straight, 7 days a week, literally, to service my clients because I couldn't hire anybody. But I knew if I did that, oh, I'm going to get this money that the government is paying me via Medicaid to take care of these people, good money, and I'm going to be able to hire people. And once I hire people while I'm sleeping or while I'm at the doctor's office with my children, or if my children get sick and I need to be home with them because they can't go to school, I'm still making money.
When Christmas is over now.
Christmas is over, that's correct. Could you give me a moment? I'm making a video.
When is Valentine's Day?
Soon. They hustling that at school already, huh? Okay, close my door back, please. That's my Emmanuel. But I did not want to be struggling. I wasn't angry with my husband because my husband is a good provider. He is going to do what he has to do to take care of his children. One thing I attribute to my father-in-law, if he didn't teach my husband anything else, he taught my husband, listen, you have one set of children by one woman. You don't go dropping your seed all over town, having kids in different households, and none of them don't know anybody. And you work and you take care of your family. My husband said when he was young that my father-in-law and his grandfather used to tell him, if you're Black, and this sounds a little grotesque, and I don't like the way it sounds because it sounds but he said they told him, if your back not strong, which means you're not going to work and do whatever you got to do to take care of your family, don't go breed nobody's daughter. I'm like, babe, we're not animals. We're not animals. He's like, well, that's what they told me. But his father saw an opportunity. Okay, because first he traveled from island to island working. And then he came to America to work. And then he sent for his wife and children. It we should not be, and yes, I understand there has been systematic racism against us. There's redlining. There's a whole bunch of things that have held us back. I am not denying that. But we got to stop contributing. We have to stop contributing to our own poverty. We have to be willing that if we are struggling, to do whatever it takes legally to stop struggling and to make a better future for the future generation. To make a better future for the future generation. I mean, I used to live in Florida. And when I was living in Florida, at one point, this is during the recession, I did not have a job. And I did not want to move to Georgia where my parents were because I owned a home. I ran into hard times because I couldn't pay my mortgage. Not that I didn't want to pay my mortgage. I could not pay my mortgage. So I ended up in Georgia at my parents' house. I did not want to go. I'm like, I don't want to be back living with my parents. But I would have been a fool to say, you know, I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to stay here in Florida and see what happens and continue to struggle. When I had an opportunity to go somewhere where I don't have to be worried about, okay, my lights are going to get turned off, because clearly if I cannot pay my mortgage, I don't have money to pay the lights. So I moved to Georgia. And then after living there, it was hard there in Georgia also. But I found out about North Dakota and the opportunities here by watching the news. And I started doing some research. And yes, I found out it was cold here. And I'm like, oh my God, it is super cold. Because I started watching the weather and weather channel and weather reports. I'm like, oh my God, it's cold here. But when I got offered a job, I found out what the pay was, an apartment, how much I can get for an apartment. I could be self-sufficient. I said, okay, I'm moving. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I had anxiety about moving. I was scared. I didn't know anyone here. My boyfriend came with me, who is now my husband. But at one point, he was like, I don't know if I'm going. I'm like, listen, I don't know if you're going, but I'm going. I'm going. But if I had stayed with the mindset that, oh, let me stay where all my family is at. Well, not all my family, my parents are at. Let me stay where there's plenty of people that look like me. I would probably still be struggling. Now, I'm not saying that there's not opportunity in Georgia, but every place isn't everybody's place of prosperity. Sometimes you got to go somewhere else. I have an associate who is from, I think she's from South Carolina, and she wanted to go to California. Everyone was, the majority of people were discouraging her from going to California. Oh, California is so expensive. California this, California that. And I told her, if that's what you want to do, you have a job lined up there, go ahead and go. Everyone in California is not struggling. Some people in California are thriving. There are rich people in California. Everybody is not struggling in California. Go ahead and go. She went. She got promotion after promotion after promotion. She was able to buy a $500,000 house as a single woman. As a single woman. Then she was there, I forget how many years she was in California. But she decided, okay, she's leaving California. She left California. She sold her home for way more than what she purchased it for. And after selling her home, now she's building a home back in South Carolina, and she's going to pay cash. But if she had stayed in South Carolina, she may not have had the opportunity to build a home where she's going to pay cash and be debt free. If she decided, oh, I'm not going to California. Let me listen to my mama, my daddy, cousins, all of them people. You know how we say in the black community, we listen to mom and them, my cousin them, and those same people cannot help you get to your destiny or where God wants you to be. Sometimes, not sometimes, but God wants to prosper us. But sometimes our prosperity is in a different place. It's not where we're at. And we have to be willing to go to get what God has for us. So if you are watching and you are struggling financially, you don't see how you're going to make ends meet or get by. You may have a job that pays decent money according to, American standards, but you're still having a hard time saving for retirement, getting ahead because the cost of living is too high. Consider moving. It may not be here to North Dakota. I'm not saying, hey, everybody come here. That is not what I'm saying. But do some research and consider moving somewhere where the cost of living is cheaper and where you can get ahead. And remember, you don't have to stay there. America is a free country. We have free will. You can do anything you want in America, just about. Just don't threaten the president. We have free will. So if you go, what's the best that could happen? Don't get stuck on what's the worst that could happen. Write a list of, if I go to this place and everything works out, what's the best that can happen? How is this going to change my life for the better? Until next time, I'm Shantae Charles. Be blessed and a prosperous future to you.